Excuse me.
I know this guy's an asshole, but there are at least two directions you could go to avoid walking through the crowd. Super weird. This movie came out all the way back in 2016 because Alan Ritchson looks older and smaller here than he does on the current Reacher series. Botox, human stretching machines, and steroids must be the magical trio we all need.
Two things are gonna happen in the next 90 seconds. First, that phone over there is gonna ring. Second, you're gonna be wearing these cuffs on your way to prison.
There's a lot of information leading up to this moment that we don't have, obviously, but I'm still gonna say it's at least a little bullshit that Reacher knew the exact way to get the sheriff to this location right at the 90-second mark of when the phone was gonna ring.
Kidnapping illegals.
Sounds like Jack Reacher has built quite the case against the 4 guys he beat up outside and these cops who are in on it. He even has the military police coming in, ready to make an arrest on the sheriff right on the spot. So why did Jack even need to beat up those guys? Why didn't he just call the MPs out and tell them I found the kidnappers and let them go to work?
This is Turner.
Major S. Turner?
Jack is surprised that the major is a woman, but I'm surprised this is the first time he's talked to her, especially since he gave the MPs all this info about the kidnapping sheriff.
Thanks for tipping us off to that sheriff.
We were going to arrest him, I swear, but the beating ass at the diner and waiting for the sheriff to arrest you method is way better.
There is this big dent in the desk, and people say you made it with someone's head.
I don't know military policy very well, especially when it comes to furnishing offices, but I'm pretty sure they could afford to get Turner a new dent-free desk.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I owe you dinner for what you did.
You sound kind of hot over the phone. I mean, I do this for male colleagues who help me out of a jam too.
When you coming to DC?
I'll get there eventually.
Well, then I won't hold my breath.
You're not saying anything.
She literally just responded to your response from her question. You're next in the conversation order, Reacher.
Speak freely, Sergeant.
Wow, for a guy who's been telling people not to call him Major, he's suddenly talking like a superior.
It says here you never paid child support.
So wait, this lawyer didn't know Jack was going to be here today, but he has a file sitting on the table about Jack's child support?
What did she tell you? Can't talk to her until tomorrow.
Oh, and also there's a thing called attorney-client privilege, but I've been known to spill when the secrets are juicy. Colonel Morgan walks in at the exact moment Reacher is leaving after his talk with Colonel Moorcroft. This is the exact information Morgan needs to set up Reacher for Moorcroft's murder later that evening. That is convenient as fuck.
How's it going?
Holy shit, those IHOP salt shakers are f***ing badass. Not recycling your guns. Oh, goody. Reacher's maybe or maybe not daughter is going to be a part of the storyline. That's awesome, because I come to all the Jack Reacher movies for the kids.
I don't like being followed.
Whoa, Samantha throws Jack's words back at him from the previous scene. But if this really is Jack's daughter, now the movie makes it sound like the skill of knowing when people are following you is genetic. That said, Jack should be better at following people than this, right?
Attorney-client privilege goes back to the earliest days of English common law.
When did Hollywood get obsessed with these villains who have to provide some sort of history lesson before doling out whatever torture they're about to inflict?
Note for the record, the Major has an injury to his hand not present during yesterday's meeting.
Note for the record, the Major has an injury to his hand not present at the very beginning of this scene.
You're my attorney.
Lieutenant Sullivan, how do you do?
Why would the attorney be holding this information back until now? Why hasn't she been helping Reacher while he was being questioned by Colonel Morgan instead of just sitting there?
You're familiar with Article 10.75 of the Military Code? An officer with your security clearance remains subject to recall in event of emergency.
I'm going to guess that, while awful, the murder of an officer off duty is not exactly an emergency. Tragedy, maybe, but emergency? But sadly, this provisional and article-based bullshit is probably something an asshat like Morgan could pull off. So the sin, as always, is Morgan's. Oh, would you look at that? Major Turner just happens to be out and about, so Jack knows where her cell is later. His detective skills are amazing when the movie just hands him everything. Also, these assholes show up right as Reacher is sent into a room with a very convenient window to see all the convenience.
Open the door, please.
For Reacher's ID snatching plan to work here, Lieutenant Sullivan has to be willing to get Reacher something to eat after he's a total asshole to her, and stupid enough to leave her satchel behind for a supposed criminal she's defending to rummage through it. Also, I don't know why anyone has to carry around hundreds of dollars in cash anywhere anymore, even in 2016, but this is quite the score for Jack, so good for him. Also, stealing.
We're done here.
Why is Espen listening to Reacher instead of thinking about the fact that Lieutenant Sullivan just left the room without any of her shit and never told Espen he could take Reacher back to his cell? Oh, good. I see Jack Reacher went to the Sherlock Holmes School of Envisioning Things. Funny how we were able to do without this in the last movie. And didn't the earlier shots of Jack observing the cameras and hallways already give us this information?
Ma'am, these men are here to transfer you.
You gotta love how the bad guys are so sloppy that they send these two very obvious goons, one with a cut on his face, to pretend being Major Turner's transfer officers. Why wouldn't they be in army uniforms? Plus, why send these guys when you can just send actual army guys to transfer her to a place where the goons can kill her? And once she gets murdered, don't they review the footage from the jail jail and ask who the hell these guys are. Also, since you just found a potential patsy in Jack Reacher, why didn't you just wait until she was dead to arrest him?
Food truck.
I kind of hate how they're going to make this a big surprise that they aren't on the food truck later. The only reason it's done this way is to disguise the fact that they wouldn't be able to get away with anything they're doing. You'd have to run to the food truck and open the door, not get in, then, after exposing yourself, hide somewhere that the MPs can't see you while they all run to their respective vehicles to chase the food truck down. Also, what luck! A food truck here at a military prison that just happens to be leaving right now. Man, this food truck certainly is driving in a manner that would make you believe two fugitives just stole it, because why isn't this asshole pulling over? So Turner and Reacher are in an MP vehicle, and they only had the keys to Lieutenant Sullivan's car, which was an all-black car with no markings on it. It would have made sense if they took the MP's keys back in the holding cell, but all they took was his badge and papers. Also, why not just take Sullivan's car if you're going to go through all that food truck nonsense? Surely both Turner and Reacher realize that the Army is going to know one of their cars was hijacked, and it'll be even easier to track them down.
Where the hell are they?
I find it hard to believe that the MPs don't have GPS locators on all their vehicles. They're looking for this car like it's the 1950s. Glad to see Reacher and Turner are taking the idea of not standing out while on the run from the law seriously. Also, Tom Cruise is running in a movie cliche.
My men weren't killed by the Taliban. They were shot in the back of the head with slugs from an Army-issue 9mm.
I'm so happy Major Turner speaks so freely about this incident in the back of the cab.
Hey, I like your hat. You Nats fan?
Yeah, from the beginning.
Asking someone if they're a fan of a sports team when they are wearing a hat with that team's logo on it. But also, from the beginning? You gotta be a little more specific than that, random cab driver. By from the beginning, do you mean the beginning of the team moving to Washington and becoming the Nationals in 2004? Or do you mean you were a fan of the original team, the Montreal Expos, when they were brought into the league in 1969? This might sound like a minor and mundane thing to give a shit about, so welcome to CinemaSins. Hope you hang out for a while. We'll be serving fettuccine Alfredo by the pool at 3. Also, I've done my research and there is no such thing as a Nats fan, much less from the beginning. Also, why in the world does she think a Washington Nationals cap is enough cover to go into an internet cafe, especially if Jack isn't going to do anything to disguise himself? Also times 3, do both of these people not know that as soon as she tries to access her email, the Army's going to get all the red flags and her location?
They locked me out.
You're just now finding this out? How long have you been here? Clearly long enough for the military to track the address, Morgan to relay that information to the assassin, and enough time for him to drive his ass over here, find parking in the middle of Washington, D.C., but somehow you're still only logging in? If the hunter was just going to follow them and not shoot them here, then why did he take the chance on being spotted while pulling out his gun and slapping a silencer onto it on this busy street in D.C.?
Being followed. It's not a cop, it's a pro.
If he's such a pro, why did he get made so soon? And don't tell me it's because Jack Reacher can spot subtle shit no one else can. This guy fails at being inconspicuous in every way. The movie makes a mistake by putting this fight in a kitchen, when The Raid 2 ended all kitchen fights as we know them.
My identification's in my right front pocket. Will you just check it? Just check.
He decides to check it. I guess the ever in evergreen isn't evergreen after all. I don't remember Jack stealing a $100 bill from Lieutenant Sullivan earlier, but I suppose it could have been in the middle of this wad of 20s. So here's a sin for A, even having a $100 bill in your wallet, and B, sticking it in the middle of your 20s.
Find it yet?
Nothing to find.
You're not looking hard enough.
Once again, movie presents me with a situation where the how is way more interesting than the surprise it's supposedly delighting us with. Man, everyone Turner and Reacher interact with is completely flush with cash!
Also, there's a Parasource employee named Prudhomme. We need his whereabouts.
Prudhomme, copy that.
Could I get a spelling? No? Okay. It's hilarious that we see Reacher discover that the bad guys have been following his might-be daughter, and in the next shot, we see Reacher and Turner running to her house. And considering the fact that they have no car, I now have to think they ran from the library to this house without breaking a sweat. Today on Inside the Amazing Mind of Jack Reacher, Jack sees a body on the floor and is able to successfully figure out that this guy got shot. Then he sees this woman on the floor and is able to successfully figure out that this woman got shot. Amazing, ridiculous skills this Reacher has, man. How does he come up with this stuff? Reacher finally does use this intuition in a way that's impressive, following the black smudges and discovering that Samantha might have hid in the cabinet. But now I'm wondering why the hunter didn't do some recon before blindly running into the apartment. Samantha was just sitting in front of the window drawing. Could have been an easy kill. Also, the fact that this hiding place worked even once. Weird that they drive around Washington, D.C., but keep ending up in New Orleans. There is that tricky road that bypasses 5 states if you're not careful, but you'd think Turner and Reacher would know better.
How did he find her?
Exactly. How did he?
How would I know?
When he was here
earlier today.
This guy is making it sound like the only way Reacher found Samantha was because of what happened today. The hunter knows that Reacher already knew where Samantha lived because he was following them on the night that Reacher was following Samantha. Sure, he might be killing Morgan because Reacher and Turner downloaded Turner's emails from his computer, but why not just say that?
You're watching me now?
Why didn't the hunter try to stop Reacher and Turner when he realized they had infiltrated his house? Also, this is quite the feat from the hunter to watch Morgan's house and try to kill Samantha at basically the same time. I guess they could have gotten some other goons to watch Morgan's house, but they also just let Reacher and Turner walk in and out without a confrontation.
He touched his phone, didn't he?
Wow, he must have been looking directly through a window to know this happened. What the f were you doing when Reacher and Turner were here? Look, I understand that putting her here in this private school somehow keeps her safe, but can they not cut and dye her hair or something to make her less recognizable?
She was texting.
What's wrong with that?
One, they can trace us.
You mean we sat through all this Pembroke just to find out that texting ruined the whole plan? For f***'s sake, guys, why did we waste all that time? But also, apparently Reacher and Turner feel like there's no need to inform the headmistress that it's possible a trigger-happy assassin will be showing up and could possibly torture her and some of her students to get the information he needs. That's just silly.
American Express? Visa? Discovery?
So you don't think the spoiled kid at Pembroke got her daddy to stop all the credit card transactions after she discovered her bag missing? The hunter finds the phone. But if they had the ability to track her phone all this time, why have they been waiting around until now to do it? She obviously had been using the phone long before she texted at the school. Nothing like giving a look and gesture like this that makes you look totally innocent at an airport. Anyway, this works. I guess it's possible if you're an evil corporation, you might hire a bunch of guys, tickets in hand, to be in every terminal at every gate with a New Orleans destination just in case Reacher showed up. That is the only way there's anyone here waiting for him right now. I know they're tracing stolen credit cards, but they could not have known which terminal or gate they were using to be here ahead of them. Also, if you're tracing stolen credit cards, why not flag the flight? Why are they even allowing them to go to New Orleans? Also, since we find out that Espin, the current leader of the MPs, is a good guy, why doesn't he put an APB out for Reacher and Turner? Jack is wanted for 2 murders, and Turner is on the hook for an espionage charge. There's no reason the MPs didn't put the airports in the area on high alert for these people. Furthermore, I can't even believe Reacher and Turner thought the airport was a viable option, considering all the things that could go wrong here. Nobody sees or hears this. This guy didn't put his phone in airplane mode. For shame! Also, he's got bars up here? Also, why does he have a call log that shows something from June 28th, but nothing before that until January 19th? Movie is careful not to show you whatever bullshit this is that opens the bathroom door from the outside. And while I am now on many lists for looking up the methods to do this, this isn't one of them.
You might want to use this one.
Jesus Christ, they somehow got one of those airplanes that actually have 2 lavatories side by side, which I'm going to say are rare. I imagine this is a pretty big plane, but I highly doubt there are this many people flying from Washington to New Orleans at 2:30 a.m. that would justify it. Not only that, but they managed to get one of those planes where there's a curtain just for the lavatory area, just in case you need to beat up a dude in private. And by beat up a dude, I mean master. Obey your master, everyone. And now the flight's over and nobody ever noticed the 2 men knocked unconscious on the plane. The flight attendants never worried about that person who was in the bathroom during the plane's descent and didn't even bother trying to get him out.
Go.
Took 2 more of your pieces off the board.
Why tell him this?
They were the B team.
Well, that's fucking stupid. If you had an A team, why didn't you fucking send them instead? Airport security takes an extended smoke break while 3 people go out an emergency door and run wild in a restricted area. I guess going through this turnstile somehow explains how you're able to get back into the airport and encounter no locked doors on the way.
No, you're gonna tell me what's going on. Or the first chance I get, I'm gonna scream or grab a policeman.
She's seriously playing this card now? She's aware that people have been trying to kill them and did in fact kill people she was staying with, and she's aware Reacher and Turner have been going out of their way to keep her alive. So the sin, as always, is Samantha's.
All we have available is a lovely 2-bedroom suite, $350 a night. Will that do?
Jesus, guys, find a La Quinta Inn or something. Why go to a moderately expensive hotel?
I was the one who made her file the paternity thing.
If Jack isn't Samantha's father and Samantha made her mom do the paternity thing, then how did her mom know to name Jack Reacher 15 years later? How long gone was Jack from the army by the time this paternity thing happened?
Our dinner date.
Skip! If this movie is planning on recreating the Untouchables, this stairway is too short.
Mrs. Prudhomme?
Wait, was there something during this entire movie that told Jack that Mrs. Prudhomme would be going to church tonight? I've seen 2 phone calls involving her husband, and there was only a passing mention of his wife. Now that I'm done interviewing the wife, let's go down this seedy back alley where absolutely no one dares to tread. I can handle myself in a fight, so this is preferable to going through a more populated and safe area and avoiding the fight altogether.
If you were gonna kill me, you would have done it by now.
I initially thought the bad guys needed Jack to be alive so they could simply pin all the murders on him, but by the end of this movie, it's clear they have no such intention. So why keep Reacher alive then?
Left,
All right.
Oh, for Christ's sake, why does it matter? Why is the choice so important? Just shoot him in a leg, or both. Who cares?
Fellas,
He made the joke about them coming at him one at a time, and they all laughed, but now these guys are fucking coming at Jack Reacher one at a goddamn time.
I told you people, I don't like being followed.
I don't exactly know what Reacher's going for here. Did he really expect people to stop following him? Did he expect the goon from the beginning of the movie to email everyone about your feelings about being followed? The real question is, why wasn't the hunter here to help out in the first place? Why did he let the unskilled underlings do the work while he waited outside?
You're good, Jack! Killing you isn't gonna be enough, though.
But why? These two have known each other for like 10 minutes. How did Jack Reacher become this nuts arch nemesis all of a sudden? I guess it's because the prop master wanted to get rid of some blank inventory, and the movie calls for Reacher to shoot multiple times blindly into a giant hunk of metal, expecting to kill the hunter.
Gun registration, car registration. How they like their eggs, their favorite flavor of ice cream, and I want it yesterday.
Do Hollywood screenwriters ever tire of writing these silly details that the person of authority wants when they ask for information about a person of interest and adding the term, I want it yesterday?
are you more upset that I treated you like a woman? Or that I treated you like a man?
I honestly don't even know where to begin with this question. I don't remember Jack treating her like a man, if I'm understanding the phrase correctly. Tom Cruise always seems to have issues with female authority figures in his movies. But I'm sure if they just play Berlin and touch tongues, they can find a truce.
I should have been the one to go talk to her. I can handle myself. I would have done better.
For one thing, I wouldn't have gone down that desolate back alley where the Terrifier was born.
I'm used to working alone.
Oh, for the love of all that is Jack Reacher, f***ing Skip!
Some dude on the street said there's a place in the 9th Ward where homeless vets hang out.
Hard to believe that the bad guys have been looking for a homeless vet all this time in the city their headquarters is located in, and no one ever gave them this information. Sleeping with your boots on.
Hey, let's go find Prudhomme.
Reacher and Turner gave Samantha all kinds of shit about leaving the hotel on her own. Reacher gave Turner all kinds of shit about leaving Samantha in the hotel alone. And so the next morning, after they find out Samantha has no problems with leaving the hotel alone, Reacher and Turner are going to leave her in the hotel alone. I really want to listen to Hart now.
No, I never heard of her.
The movie feels the need to prove Major Turner's badassery by slamming this poor guy's head into a table. It's almost like the movie itself doesn't take her seriously unless she does something unnecessarily violent. This scene feels a lot like the one in Courage Under Fire, another Ed Zwick military movie where Denzel Washington has to find a junkie Matt Damon to tell them the truth. I don't really have a sin here. I just wanted to mention Courage Under Fire before the sin devil punishes me for bringing up quality films.
Next day, we're driving through those poppy fields. The whole convoy just gets lit up.
And after it was over, I was taken to a cave and asked by the 10 rings to build a missile. My buddy put an electromagnet in my heart. I built this suit, and I blasted my way out of that cave.
There was this guy. He worked for Parasource. He told me not to worry, that he'd take care of everything.
Why didn't the hunter just kill Prudhomme right then and there? They knew he blabbed about the operation because it was in the report. Is it so there'd be a movie? Also, the report Turner got from the emails at Colonel Morgan's house said that Prudhomme was evasive and then disappeared. Well, how do they write a report like that when he told them everything? And then he tells Turner that he disappeared after the investigators were killed.
More shit on the streets of Notland than they're making in Afghanistan.
This is the kind of statement you make when you're really trying to tell someone what this evil company is really selling. When Reacher and Turner sit around wondering, what could this weapons company be selling to make up for losing government contracts, it becomes absolutely maddening when they can't come up with the answer. Hell, there was a whole firefight in a poppy field, for f***'s sake. And you're still not going to take the goddamn boots off before you get back in bed?
You do it?
Just like we negotiated.
Okay, so they Ocean's 11 to phone into Espen's jacket, which is great. And I guess Leach told them where he'd be so they could pull this stunt. But holy shit, did they ever get lucky with Espen going out to a restaurant at the perfect time and finding someone who could put the phone in his jacket on short notice.
Nickel Street Wharf. Espen out.
Nichols Street Wharf. No witnesses.
Unnecessary orders. Also, if you're Reacher and Turner and you're sure there are bad actors in the army who are helping Parasource, why wouldn't you warn Espen about people potentially listening? Like, do a Departed thing, where you give the wrong address. Do something other than allowing potential bad guys to know your location.
Freeze! Don't shoot, man.
Maybe Turner could have given the heads up on how the witness was going to come stumbling out of the dark like he's in the Men in Black shooting range, so Espen didn't accidentally kill the one witness that would exonerate her and Reacher. I'd like to know how these mercenary guys snuck up to this wharf without Turner and Reacher hearing or seeing any cars drive up. Honestly, that was their one job, to make sure no one showed up that could mess up their hard work. Also, I know these guys are trigger-happy mercenaries and could argue they were technically successful here. They killed the witness they've been looking for all this time. But this is a closed space, one they could have blocked off to ensure no one gets in or out. Instead, they go in guns a-blazing when they don't really have a great shot. And they seem to be completely oblivious that Reacher and Turner might be lurking somewhere around here. Why are these fuckers shocked at all that Reacher got the upper hand on them again? He's only done this every fucking time they've gone after him. Anger? Sure, but confusion or surprise? Learn new expressions. Also, to me, this shot encapsulates the whole movie for the villains. The only guy who has been effective is standing here watching the video feed alongside the movie's chief bad guy while they watch nameless, almost faceless shooters get mowed down like they're the projections in Inception.
You're still wanted for murder.
That's right. I'm a stone killer. Well, I saved you.
I couldn't possibly be a murderer. Look at all the people I pass on the street daily who are still alive.
Or you gonna need more proof than the word of a dead junkie.
I agree that they need more to prove the case, but does the fact that a bunch of dudes who somehow knew to go to the wharf to kill a witness that only 3 people should have known about not constitute some extra proof? Why is Espen not feeling more paranoia and suspicion about what just happened?
Just get us on the tarmac at Parasource in 1 hour.
This whole movie we've heard Turner rightly complain about how Reacher doesn't think she's got the necessary skills to do what he does. Now they think they should actively be on this investigation despite being wanted for all sorts of crimes. Why not let Espen do his job? These stolen credit cards should have been tossed out by Reacher as soon as they used them at the airport. I feel like the smart guy from the first movie and the guy at the very beginning of this movie who could predict the future aren't the same person we got for the rest of it. And why didn't Reacher and Turner leave more food to avoid this very thing?
What's the drill, Major?
Drill is we enforce the law.
How does Turner think this is going to end? She's a fugitive. Even if she's proven right about what she finds, how will it hold up? This is yet another thing that could have been done smarter. What kills me is that they think they need to do this tonight. Prudhomme told them there's a transport every Friday at the same time. Can this not wait a week?
Pure opium. Get him out of here.
I still don't think this is how any of this works, but yay, evil is going to be punished. Samantha just got out here on this balcony and at that moment sees the hunter making his way through the crowd. This whole movie is, I just happen to be in the right place at the right time to notice something.
Reacher, it's him. He's here.
What?
At the hotel. Hurry.
Richard,
Listen to me.
You know, the movie could have actually ended right before this phone call. Reacher and Turner clear their names, and the bad guy has been apprehended. But no, we've still got to deal with Samantha being chased down by the remaining soldiers for hire, which is awesome because I come to all the Jack Reacher movies for the kids. Reacher is speeding down the streets of fucking New Orleans on Halloween night and doesn't hit, maim, or kill a single fucking person. And that might be the most unbelievable part of this movie.
She's not in the hotel. She's in the street.
How do you know?
Because that's what I would do.
It's at times like these where I see the long-haired blonde teenager running through the streets of New Orleans away from the professional killer that I think back to that Washington Nationals cap that Turner got from the cab driver and how that might have been a decent little callback so that Samantha could escape.
Did you see anything?
Searched 3 more hotels. We didn't find a trace of her.
The whole hotel? Come on. By the way, do some of you people out there refer to Jack Reacher Never Go Back as a Halloween movie? Or is this movie too irrelevant for that?
Is that fear I hear in your voice, Jack? I'm gonna break your arms. I'm gonna break your legs. I'm gonna break your neck.
Excitement?
What you hear is excitement.
Holy shit, Jack Reacher really would be excellent at CinemaSins. The street-smart Samantha does her best Prometheus school of running away from things, escape instead of simply getting lost in the crowd. And steal someone's hat, for Christ's sake. Learn from the book of Richard Kimball. Kids these days.
Charter Street, Lafitte Hotel.
Oh yeah, I know exactly where that is. I'll just follow the trail of voodoo daiquiris. Turner has gotten thrown into this wall twice, hitting her head and back and jumps right back up as if nothing happened. It's as if she's playing Maria Hill on Compound V. Those are both from the DC Comics, right?
I don't give a shit.
I think it's here where Ed Zwick said, "Give me my blowout shot." Wouldn't it be awesome if this movie somehow ended like Blowout? Jack somehow records the screams of his may or may not be daughter and uses them in his next job as a Foley artist on some dumb horror movie?
If I put down the gun, you let her go.
Does that seem smart? Because currently, if he lets Samantha go, Samantha falls to her death.
It means we're dead already.
Jack says this weird off-the-wall thing that is a callback to an earlier scene and could only be interpreted as some sort of code by the hunter. It's at this point I just drop Samantha off the roof. What do I care? I thought this guy wanted to hurt Jack emotionally before taking him on a fight anyway. Jack tackles the hunter off the roof and they crash down on another roof where they will have a fight in which both guys are badly hurt. And this should have been a great matchup considering all the hype, but it just ends up being very disappointing. The hunter has the upper hand briefly before Jack just obliterates him, and we wasted all that build-up for it to end in less than 2 minutes. These guys are like Liam Neeson in Taken 3. Sure, they were innocent of all the crimes they were accused of, but they still did a lot of crimes to prove their innocence.
You know, it's funny. You came here looking for one girl and you ended up with another.
This is such a weird way to put it. He came here looking to get laid, but he ended up with the possible result of getting laid 15 years ago. Anyway, Samantha is in no way a romantic prospect, so this little bit of poetry is icky as shit. God damn, this movie has almost as many endings as Return of the King. She'll tell him that the waitress who's been serving him hasn't recognized him, and he sure as shit didn't recognize her, so there's no way they're related. All that stuff where Samantha did Jack Reacher things? Yeah, just a coincidence, not genetic. Anyway, she can be Lucas Haas to his Steve Martin when he cranks up some cons for his Leap of Faith tour, so all is well. She gets into that Pembroke school where she stole that chick bag with all her credit cards in it. I wonder if she tells Olivia the story of how an evil company selling opium had an assassin chasing her and she needed her credit cards to survive. Or if Olivia meets her out in the parking lot to give her a beatdown every day at 5 o'clock hot, trying to hitchhike in the year of our Lord 2016.
You never go home again, Oatman, but I guess you can shop there.
Isn't that what Army folks do for each other, Major?
Ex-Major.
Oh, once a major, always a major.
Major craving for a mojito?
I'm deciding whether I'd like you in person.
Which way are you leaning?
On the fence. Not sure you could handle me.
And that, kids, is how I met your mother.
Where'd you get your law degree?
Colonel Jessup, if it's not too much trouble, I'd like a copy of the transfer order, sir.
So long, Carolyn.
I told you people, I don't like being followed.
What do you mean, you people?
Now we return to our Halloween marathon. Is your costume ready for tonight's parade?
I need you to jump to a conclusion here, soldier.
You see, it would be this map that you would put on the floor and would have different conclusions written on it that you could jump to.
Reacher, it's him. He's here.
What?
At the hotel. Hurry.
Reacher,
Say listen to me.
Now, the next part is very important. They're going to take you.
If I put down the gun, you let her go.
Very poor choice of words.
See that woman over there? The waitress who's refilled your coffee 3 times? That's her. Neither of you had any idea who the other was.
JR, you are not.